Hello, and welcome back to another episode of DHD Racing. Today it is me and Daniela. Holly has gone back to uni and she's abandoned us. No, I'm joking. Today we're going to be ranking, or in our opinions, ranking how well the drivers have done so far. Today is just the 30th of September. So the last race was Japan. Yes.
That took too long to think about that.
So just to give context of where we're about in the season. We're still making our list.
Yeah, we're making our list.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going.
I did start from the bottom, but then I also decided to start from the top.
Yeah.
It's really hard to actually make these rankings.
Yeah.
Like, we keep looking at the driver list just to help us. So
No,
I might
leave
have
it.
to.
It's okay.
No, because I need to see it.
Okay. Will it still be recording?
I hope so.
Okay.
We'll work it out when it comes to editing.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I just don't know where to put people.
I've done my top 5, but it might change as I move through the list. I've my top 7. I think it's disappearing. Come back.
I just don't know. Why? Oh, no worries. That was a really stupid question.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it was Lando, George, Oscar, and I was like, why is George's number bright green, but Lando's and Oscar's are both black? And then I realized, oh, they're on the same team.
Yeah.
And I thought all the drivers' numbers of them just black.
No.
And then I scrolled up and saw Fernando's was green, and I was like, oh, okay.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, but then why is Lewis's bright yellow?
Because on their cars, I think they have different.
Oh. I've never noticed that.
I think. Don't quote me. I'm probably wrong. I just don't know. I'm stuck. I've literally put my number 1 and then 22, 21, 20, 19, 18.
It's difficult. Okay. I know who my worst driver is. Now I'm just going to fill the rest of the midfield. Kind of mean, but I don't care. I'll be honest, the lower numbers I don't really like. There's no reason for the order. It's just it is.
Mm-hmm. I meant their driver numbers because instead of putting their names, I'm putting their initials and their number.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I would not remember that. It's just going to be a bunch of silent.
This is probably slightly controversial with Darine when she sees mine.
Okay. We'll see.
Oh, this is hard. This is not as easy as I had thought it was going to be. Actually.
I went to write Danny Rick and I wrote Danji Rick. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh, okay.
I always put Kevin Magnussen in twice because I thought and then I was like, oh no, I already have. Oh, I don't know.
It's not easy.
It really isn't.
Oh. See, when you miss someone off and then you have to go back and change all the numbers. Oh, I can't do this, man.
I actually don't know if I've got Liam Lawson's driver number correct. 'Cause- oh, no, I have. I was just going off of like recent years of like what numbers he's used like over his career, being like, which one is it? I'm actually going to swap. Oh no, I need to just swap these around. I'm going to be really mean and people are going to hate me. Everyone's going to be like, you have such a bias.
So what?
I'm going to get cancelled. So it's like, I'm sure I've seen that on Twitter and stuff. Like, people like hate a lot of journalists being like, but they have a bias. I'm like, I'm trying not to have a bias. I've had conversations with other journalists about
Liz. Okay.
Who have I not? We had actually done this episode before, but it became 2 hours long.
Yeah.
We did it in the car with no preparation. It was just thinking. Then we forgot who we'd done.
Yeah.
A
lot of getting sidetracked. And
yeah.
A lot of going back on like changing our list as we were
and then we never
it.
concluded
what we never even finished the list.
Yeah.
We're just doing it again. I think I'm done, but that doesn't.
I
haven't thought about it a lot. I'm just. Maybe it will change as I go.
Literally same. Honestly, same. Oh, I haven't. I already need to change stuff around.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is so hard. Where am I going to fit that person in? I'm going to fit between those two and change that to 15. Sorry, that's me just like.
No, it's okay.
In silence. So I just need to change the numbers quickly. Okay. But it's no, actually, this is actually proving to be more difficult than I thought.
It's hard. I think you just.
Okay, I might just have to sit. Yeah.
It's not going to be perfect. You can change it as you go.
Yeah. I'm missing 2 drivers. Who have I not done? Oh, I know who the final 2 are.
Okay.
I don't know if these are in the right place now, but I'm just going to stick with it, and then
it'll
afterwards I'll be like, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that. I've literally forgot their initials then. Okay, I think I'm done. Shall we start from the bottom up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
go back so we can see what we're doing.
Yeah.
And let's also hope that this recorded the whole time.
Okay. Imagine if it didn't. Okay.
I feel like they could still be able to hear us, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So the lists are complete. Let's go. Well, yeah. The most important thing is that they've been filled. They're not complete, but they've been filled.
Yeah.
So starting from the bottom.
Yes. In 22nd place.
I think we've agreed on this one.
Yeah.
Logan Sargent.
This is no hate on Logan Sargent. He is a rookie, and I think that like he should be given the time,
the space, to improve.
But he still has no points and has driven more than some drivers who do have points in terms of like length of the season.
And he's not the only rookie.
Yes.
And the other rookies have been doing very well.
The other rookies are also in different cars. Yeah. So you do need to. Yeah. Okay.
It can't be easy.
Who's your 21?
My 21. There's no like specific order between 18 and 21.
Okay.
So I'll just read off those 4.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they haven't really caught my attention the whole season. So Zhou Guanyu, Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hülkenberg, and K-Mag.
Okay.
Those are my next 4.
Okay, so in 21 for me, I've put Lance Stroll. In 20th, I've put. I do feel really mean by it because, like, I don't know. I think that he has the potential, but I don't know if maybe the pressure gets him for like.
I thought he started off quite well.
Not as well as Fernando, but we'll come on to that later.
Yeah.
Then Nick de Vries is in 20th for
Yeah.
me.
After those 4, it's Nick
yeah.
de Vries for me.
I do think that if he'd had more time, he would have improved and done better, but he wasn't given the time, and I had to kind of factor that in.
Yeah.
19th, I've got Valtteri Bottas.
Mm-hmm.
18th, I've got Kevin Magnussen.
Mm.
Okay, who you then said Nick de Vries was 17th,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
My 17th is really, really controversial. I'm gonna get cancelled.
No, it's fine.
My 17th is Sergio Perez.
What? Okay, to be fair, I don't have him that high up either.
Right. I think that he is doing really well. Like, if you look in the standings, like, he is second, and out of all the other drivers, he's the one that's challenged Max the most.
Yeah.
But with like the constant DNFs, which aren't always his fault, but they are there, he's struggled to get into Q3 a lot of the time. I just don't think. I think the pressure's getting to him, and I think if the pressure wasn't getting to him and he'd got into Q3 more times than he has, he would have been higher up my list.
Yeah.
I have justifications, and I'm not saying he's a bad driver in any way. I think he's doing fantastic, and it must be so hard to be in that second Red Bull seat.
Yeah, this isn't like how good they are as a driver. It's about like how their season has gone.
Yes. Yeah. It's not a reflection of them as a driver just this season.
Yeah.
But obviously, no, everyone's gonna be shouting at me, being like, "Yeah, but he's second in the championship, and he's doing really challenge Max," which is true. But I did have a bit more of a high expectation.
Yeah,
from him
he shouldn't have only half of Verstappen's points. He should be doing better than that. But yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Next, are we on 16?
Yes.
You're not gonna like me for this one, but Danny Rick.
No, that's okay. That's valid.
Because he hasn't done many races yet.
He's done 2 races, so that is completely valid.
There's nothing, there's
I
no
have
material.
Put him higher, but I'm a little bit biased. Okay, I've put Pierre Gasly.
Okay.
I feel like the last 2 years for Pierre hasn't been as strong as previous.
I completely agree.
And I'm disappointed because I used to be such a big Gasly fan, and he just hasn't met my expectations this year or last year. But last year I think that was partly also due to the car, but then I think maybe this year is too. But so not quite where I want him to be.
Next are SC and Pierre.
Oh, okay. So I've actually got Joe Granu in between SC and Pierre for me. So Joe Granu's in 15th. I think that he is like doing okay, and I actually think, in my opinion, he's doing better than Valtteri Bottas, which is why I put him up higher. And I'm not saying Valtteri's a bad driver. I think Valtteri is brilliant, and I think that he did phenomenal at Mercedes. I just don't think I think he suits the team, but not the car.
I agree. Yeah, in my little section at the bottom, Joe is at the top of that section.
Right, okay. So I've got Joe in 15th and Esteban Ocon in 14th.
Okay, nice.
Who've you?
So my 15 and 14 are
Pierre. Who's your 13?
My 13 is Checo.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's probably where I should have put. I probably should have swapped Checo with Ricciardo, but it's fine. My 13th is Ricciardo. I am slightly biased. I will forever and always be biased when it comes to Ricciardo. No, I think this is going to sound so mean, but he actually, in the 2 races that he actually did exceed my expectations for him.
Yeah.
But also because I thought that the car wasn't that great, so I didn't know how. I obviously knew that, like, in terms of Red Bull, the Red Bull style, he suits it very much, but I didn't know if that was going to be the same at AlphaTauri. So he did actually impress me, which I think is why I put him up high on the list.
Also, you're a fan, so it's understandable. When we get to my top section, you'll see you'll see the fan favoritism come into play. Anyways, number 12 is Lance for me.
Okay.
For your same reasonings, but I don't think he deserved to be as low as you put him.
No, that's I've actually put Nico Hülkenberg because he's another driver who's impressed me.
Okay.
And he's finished ahead of Kevin Magnussen quite a few times now. So he actually impressed me, which is why I put him higher up. Yeah. Who have you put in 11th?
My 11th is Yuki.
Oh my god, same.
Oh my gosh. I do think
and it's half of 22.
Yeah, exactly. And 11 together, 22.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I like if if there weren't so many other good drivers in front of him, he would have gone higher.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's there's not much. He's had he's done a really good job.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Number 10,
10.
top 10. My number 10 is Fernando.
Okay. My number 10. I'll let you explain.
He had a good start, but it's kind of just dropped off
Yeah.
now. I don't think it's gone very well for him lately.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
My number 10 is really controversial. This might even be more controversial than the Sergio Perez one. Mine is Charles Leclerc. I just think, I know I keep mentioning the word pressure, but I do really think that
I think you're right.
That Charles Leclerc is someone who definitely suffers from the pressure. A lot of the time I find that people blame Ferrari, but it isn't always Ferrari.
I'm missing a number.
Oh, okay.
I went from 5 to 7.
Oh, I just think that like he doesn't always do as well as I think people make out, and they then go to blame Ferrari when sometimes it is a driver error. And I just think that like Carlos is outperforming him. Yeah. And he's just not meeting my expectations. He just needs to. I feel like he needs to get in a better mindset. I don't know how he can do that, but he is one that really suffers from the pressure, and that is why I've had to put him in 10th, which I know a lot of people, especially Ferrari fans. I'm a Ferrari fan too. Like, hands up, I'm a Ferrari fan, but that's kind of my reasoning, I guess. Have you fixed your error?
I have fixed my error. He was what I was. That's why. I was missing him.
Oh, okay.
So I'll put him 9th. Because,
you put him 9th. Okay.
I completely agree with you because I was looking at my list and I think everyone else that I have is doing better than him. So 9th. I think 9th is a good...
I put George Russell as 9th. Like at times he is doing better than Hamilton. Yeah. But George Russell is 8th for me. I think that he kind of like will sometimes let the frustration get the better of him and like the aggressive side get the better of him, which then doesn't always put him in the best position. Yeah. And like most recently he's kind of been challenging Hamilton, and then they're having like a dispute and they're not then focusing on the driving, they're focusing on each other. And I think that kind of changed my positioning of where I put George in the standings just because of recent races.
He's had a few unfortunate races
recently. He has. Like obviously he did crash in Singapore on the last lap, which it was just one of those things that happened. And he, apart from that, he was doing so well. But I think that sometimes it's the attitude that he brings that then is
obviously when you're in the car, it's a lot of like high stress, high tension. Yeah. But still,
Yeah, like obviously being in the car is so stressful. Like you're going so fast, and you need to be focused. But I think that sometimes his behavior takes a different turn. And it just doesn't always sit right with me. I know it's technically not his driving style, but I think that it does also kind of affect his driving style a little bit.
It affects his race.
Yeah. So that's why I've kind of put Russell in 9th.
Yeah.
And you put him in 8th.
Right? I put him in 8th for like the same reasons as you. Like I just think everyone above him's been doing a bit better on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that just, and for the same, like for your reasons, I think that's a good place for him. What's your 8th?
My 8th is Fernando Alonso. Okay. I am a big fan of Fernando Alonso. If you listen to my other podcast I host on, you will hear me have a catchphrase, which is, I'm going to remain optimistic and Fernando Alonso is going to get a win. I don't think Fernando Alonso is going to get that win. I think he had a brilliant start to the season, but he is dropping off.
Yeah.
And I don't think Aston Martin are going to be able to bring that back, unfortunately.
I don't think they have enough time.
No. But
save it.
I do think that he started off like absolutely fantastic. Really, really impressed. So 8th for me. Who have you got for 7th?
My 7th is Alex Albon.
Okay.
Not really any particular reason. I just like Alex Albon.
that's
I think he's doing well.
I would say that.
I love Alex.
My 7th. This one is kind of on my little bit of favoritism, kind of sneaks in a little bit. My 7th is Liam Lawson.
Okay.
I've been a Lawson fan since his F2 days.
Lee lost 6.
Yes, I've just been a massive fan of his, and he has impressed me so much. Well, I say impressed me. I already knew how fantastic he was. Like, I had high expectations anyway, but he's just done phenomenal in the races that he's been in so far. I'm gutted that he hasn't got a seat for next year.
I can't believe that.
So I think he is someone that we all need to watch, because I think he has something special there, and I could talk about Liam Lawson forever, so I will shut up now. So you've put Liam Lawson.
I put him.
I did debate it.
Yeah,
but I went with 7th in the end.
Okay. All right. Who's your 6th?
My 6th is Lewis Hamilton.
Okay.
I think he's having like a decent season.
Yeah.
But
all things considered, I think he's my 5th.
Okay, I was gonna say there's some drivers that I've got kind of slightly ahead that have just like kind of, I feel like, pulled it out of the bag. They're slightly a bit more than he has. So who?
My 4th is Oscar Piastri.
Okay.
So my 3rd and 4th are Lando and Oscar Piastri.
Okay.
So I just think they've had an amazing, like both of them had an amazing season. Obviously didn't start great, but they really brought it back. Like, those upgrades have just completely changed the game for them. They've been doing so well. Like, you really can't fault them now. Like, they're doing their absolute best. It's really impressive to see. I'm very proud of them. I feel like a proud mum.
Oh, so my 5th is Alex Albon. I think he's just so brilliant at pushing that Williams to the max. Obviously sometimes like there is unfortunate circumstances, like in Singapore, both of the Williams DNF due to mechanical faults, I think. So like times like that, it's kind of out of Alex's control. But I think with the car that he's got, he's just doing so well, and I think that needs to be recognised and talked about more than it is. In my 4th, this is where you're kind of not going to agree with me. I've put Carlos Sainz, even though obviously like there's only 3 drivers this year that have won races. You've got Verstappen, Perez, and Sainz. I do think that compared, like, if you compare Perez to Sainz in this situation, I do think that, like, even though Sainz has only had 1 win this year, I feel like it just was it was a stronger win in the terms of like fighting against other people for this win, but also strategically it was like incredible, but also like not strategically just from his team, but from him himself.
From him as well. I think it's like, that's a race that's like going to go down in history. I think it was a legendary win, and that's why I have him 2nd. But obviously that's like because I'm a Carlos fan. But like, not just because I'm a fan, I genuinely think like he's just, wow, that was amazing.
Yes, that's kind of my justification between like him and Perez. Like, I do think like
completely
Perez,
agree.
Like, he's had some ups, but he's also had a lot of downs, where Carlos, I feel like, has been kind of consistent, but then has also had those ups as well.
His ups have been much stronger as well.
Yes, in 3rd and 2nd, I've got the 2 McLaren boys. So I've got Oscar in 3rd and Lando in 2nd. It was hard for me to kind of choose between the 2 of them, because even though like Lando's had more podiums, I think Oscar's had the most phenomenal,
more impressive.
Because like this is his first season. He's a rookie. He has done so incredibly well.
You know what? I'm gonna swap mine. I'm gonna put Oscar 3rd and Lando 4th.
Okay. I still don't know if I want to swap them, but
I think you should keep yours.
I'm just so impressed with Oscar. He, like, I was worried about him being teammates of Lando, because I thought, like, I was so worried about people saying like, oh, but he's not doing as well, like, and put a lot of pressure in the comparison between the 2 of them. But he's done brilliantly, and there isn't really a comparison between 2 of them, because they're both
they're both doing really, really well, and I don't think it's to the point of like they're fighting each other. Like, it's not a bad competition, and they're not like, they're pushing each other, and they're both doing well, and they're both like happy for each other. It's great to see. Just I'm so proud of them. Proud of them.
So like, I'm glad that like he's been up there, because like, even from like, obviously his first race was a DNF, but not his fault again. But from then onwards, he's kind of been on par with Norris. Like, there hasn't been too much of a gap. The only one I'd say there was a bit of a gap was Singapore, because he didn't get his qualifying lap in before Stroll crashed.
That's the thing.
He started in Q3, but then he made it up all the way. He started in Q3. So he didn't make it through Q1, or out of Q1, and then he managed to go from like right at the bottom to, I think he's finished like P7 or something. And he also like had a little bit of like a rocky race, like it wasn't like a perfectly smooth race for him. So yeah, I just think phenomenal. And then Lando's also just been incredible. Very impressed, because I go through phases with Lando where sometimes I'm not the biggest fan, but at the moment he's really impressing me.
No, I don't go through phases. I know where I stand with him, and I respect him as a driver, but he's a British lad, so I'm not that impressed. But like, you know, I'm very happy for him as a driver, and he's doing amazing, you know. Yeah.
In terms of driving, honestly, he is like, I know they're all fantastic. Like they're literally like they're in the top 20 or now 22 drivers of the whole world right now. But yeah, there's just something about Lando and his driving that just like really excites me.
If he was, and like, I know the McLaren has gotten better, but if he was in like a really good car, he could beat Lando. We could be world champion. You know, I really think he could be. I really think if he was in a good car, he would do it.
That's
but yeah, moving on to our number one.
We have the same number one. It's obvious.
As much as, you know, people say that Max has made the season boring, and that is true, but that's also not his fault. Because even the start of Singapore was quite boring as well. I just think it's been kind of a slow season. But yeah, you really can't fault Max.
Yeah.
You really, like, I'm not a fan of him, but you can't deny he's had an amazing season. He's not made like any mistakes.
He's made history.
It's not just,
he's broken records.
He's broken so many records. And it's not just because the car is good, it's because he's good as well. Yeah. Because in Equal Machinery, had, you know, a horrible season, a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. And not just because he's against Max. But yeah, like he hasn't made any mistakes. He's done really well, and he's already basically won. Come on now.
Yeah.
There's no way anyone's going to surpass him.
He can win in Qatar in the sprint race.
Yeah.
If I can't remember what position Checo has to be in for him to win, but it is possible.
But yeah.
But that's only because of Checo's DNF last 2 DNFs last race. But yeah, like you cannot deny Max at all. And I think like everyone talks about like how brilliant the Red Bull is, but I also think like
you have to give credit to Max.
Yeah, because you have like the car, and you have the driver, and you have the strategy. Like you have so many factors that go into it. And I think he is like, we've known this for years though, that Max is super talented. Like this isn't a new thing. Like Max from day one of entering the sport, he has proved himself time and time again. And he gets a lot of stick and hate because of like that aggressive nature that he has.
I think he's matured past that now.
I agree with that. Like I feel like he has been maturing, and there are other drivers who I think are now kind of showing that aggressive side. But I feel like I think he's becoming a bit more of like an understanding person. But I think that just comes to time. Like he started his career so young. Like it's like even just the F1 career side of things so young. Like let alone like,
a lot.
But again, he is incredible, and I would probably go out to say that he is probably the best driver on the grid right now.
Yes.
Like because there's like you can win races, right, and be a good driver, but if you start on pole, you have no field to get through. Even when he hasn't started on pole, he is flying through that field. Like, he's great at overtaking,
and that's because he's a good driver.
Exactly.
Like there's no other way to say it. There's no other reason. He is a good driver. Like. Yeah,
I agree. So yeah, that's
our ranking.
Our ranking.
Don't cancel us.
Yeah, please do.
It's just opinions.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and watching. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.